The language of person prayer is not merely something we do. It is a way of being. One of the purest ways to teach prayer is simply to pray, because prayer is not first an activity. It is a state of alignment. Prayer is the language of our communion with God. It is not just words spoken, but understanding expressed. It is not merely communication. It is a language system. True prayer is not just speaking to God. It is speaking from His mind. John 6:63. This means prayer must be built from Spirit-originated understanding. Not just vocabulary, but source. Not just utterance, but origin. True prayer is formed from the mind of Christ. It flows from His perspective, His intent, His knowing. If this foundation is absent, intimacy becomes impossible. There is no prayer without attention. Attention is the currency of prayer. It is attention that gathers the soul, mind, will, and emotions and aligns it with the Spirit. Without it, words may be spoken, but fellowship will be absent. You cannot be fervent without attention, and you cannot be intimate without fervency. Distraction produces divided fellowship. Focus produces alignment. Every communication flows from a system. The world speaks from its own system, on John 4:5, built on the lust of the flesh. The lust of the eye is the pride of life, but God's language is different. His language is truth, and truth produces life. A lie is not merely falsehood. It is a perspective that opposes the counsel, purposes, and total will of God. Its fruit is death, and death is not merely cessation of existence, but separation from the life of God. It is the experiential knowledge of Him. John 17. The fall of man did not begin in the body, it began in the soul. The mind was distorted, the will was misaligned, the emotions were corrupted. Therefore, prayer is not just expression, it is restoration. It retrains the soul to realign with divine reality. You cannot truly pray outside the understanding of Christ. Anything outside that understanding is of the flesh and profits nothing. Prayer is participation in the consciousness of Christ. John 6:63. Never reduce the answers of God to only what is visible. His will, His counsel, is the substance behind all true response. Strife is a product of selfishness. Homologia is not repetition. It is response. It is agreement with God, speaking from what has been revealed, not merely what is desired. Prayer, therefore, is responding from what you have seen in Christ. There is a distinction between speaking in the Spirit and praying spiritually. Speaking in the Spirit, union-based, flowing with the Spirit as one, in the same frequency and speak His language. Praying spiritually, intent-based, praying the interests of God. True maturity is when both align, when your union with God produces prayers that carry His intentions. Prayer is the language of intimacy, and intimacy is sustained by 3 pillars. Mindset. How you see motive. Why you act communication, how you express your mindset shapes perception. Your motive reveals your heart. Your communication expresses both. Many prayers go unanswered not because the words are wrong, but because the motives are misaligned. James 4:1-3. God weighs motives deeply. In matters of intimacy, motive governs intimacy. Prayer must never be for display or validation. Words may fill the atmosphere, but motives define the man. Even in power and miracles, the goal is not performance. It is that the Father is revealed and His love is experienced. Glory is not performance. It is the manifestation of God's nature. We perform miracles because we want the Father to take glory. 2 dimensions of God's glory. in performing miracles, God is glorified. Man experiences perfected love power. It's not necessarily for validation. It is for the revelation of love. Impact is not just influence. It is alignment. It is causing another to step into the purpose of God. You cannot produce anything truly meaningful on earth without praying spiritually, in the Spirit, fervently. The essence of prayer is fellowship, sharing in the same perspective and frequency with God and expressing it. To grow in prayer, you must learn to stay, not just to speak, but to remain, to abide. No ministry or thing can succeed without prayer. Time is a blockage. It actually means nothing. In intimacy, it's expedient that you break the spell of time. Yes, prayer is not in the length, it's in the focus, in the discipline to stay. It's not about how much time spent, it's about waiting. Time is not the essence of prayer. Time is only a container. Presence is the substance. When you wait deeply enough, certain resistances in the soul will break. The resistance of distraction, the urge to escape or stop the trembling of the body under divine weight, the subtle rise of spiritual pride. These are not signals to withdraw. They are thresholds to cross. There is no such thing as the gift of prayer. Prayer is not a talent. It is our design. We are not people who occasionally pray. We are beings created for prayer. It is our native posture, our original design. Sin itself is not merely an act. It is a state of separation from the life of God. Prayer then becomes the pathway of return, not just to speak to God, but to think with Him, to desire with Him, and to live from Him. In the end, prayer is fellowship, sharing in the same perspective, moving in the same frequency, and expressing the same life with God. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. We honor you.